Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a complete bearded dragon care guide. So let's get into it. So let's start off with the tank size. You can have a baby bearded dragon in anywhere from a 20-gallon to a 40-gallon tank. You can have a juvenile in a 40 to 70-gallon tank, and an adult bearded dragon needs a 120-gallon tank. However, you could just put a juvenile straight into a 120-gallon. In terms of temperature, your bearded dragon's warm side should be anywhere from 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit with a basking spot of 100 to 110. With a cool side being 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit with a night drop to as low as 70 degrees Fahrenheit. One of the most important things is UVB. If your beardy does not have a good UVB, then they can easily develop what is called metabolic bone disease. Metabolic bone disease is where a reptile does not have enough calcium, which is something that UVB can give, so it is very important to give them UVB lighting. Signs of metabolic bone disease consist of a soft or rubbery jaw, bent or swollen legs, shaky movements, trouble walking, or a curved spine. In severe cases, they can become paralyzed or die, so it is very important to give them UVB. They need UVB in zone 3, which is about 2.9 to 7.4 on a UVI meter. So it's recommended to have a linear T5HO high output 10.0 UVB tube. In terms of humidity, they like it really dry, around 30 to 45% humidity, so it can be pretty tricky to make the enclosure bioactive, and if you are going to, then only use succulents, cacti, and grasses, and do not use any tropical plants, mosses, or substrates. What I do for a substrate is a mix of 2 parts topsoil with 1 part sand, and that works for me. So now, let's talk about common things that people get wrong. Speaking of substrate, a lot of people will say that sand or any soil is bad for a lizard, which is not true at all. And even though you still could use paper towel, tile, or newspaper as substrate, it is going to be a lot harder to maintain, so if I were you, I would just use topsoil and sand. Next, people will freak out that their beardy isn't eating or being as active. Even though this could mean something bad, most of the time your lizard is just in brumation. This is something that dragons will do during the colder days of the year, and it's completely normal. Next, people will house multiple bearded dragons together. This is bad most of the time, even if you are trying to breed them. Now, if you're breeding them, then only house them together for a short period and separate them so the female doesn't get too stressed. Other than that, the only other scenarios where you can house them together is if they are babies or if you have just females in an absolutely ginormous tank. Then some people will say that bearded dragons get all of their water straight from the food that they eat. This is pretty straightforward, and you should always just provide your bearded dragons with a water bowl. Next, we are going to talk about how to pick out a healthy bearded dragon from the pet store. Some things to look for in a beardy that are good is if they are very active and moving and their eyes are fully opened. A lot of people will pick the ones that look the chillest and aren't as active because they think it's cute, but this is a bad decision. Things that are bad to see is if their nose is plugged. This could either mean that they have some stuck shed in them, or it could mean that they have a respiratory infection. Also, if their eyes aren't fully opened, this could mean that they are sick. Now for their diet. It varies as they age, but when they're babies, they should be eating 70% insects, and 30% of their diet should be greens. For adults, it's the opposite. The adults should eat 70% greens and 30% bugs. But it is very important to still offer babies greens at a young age, because if they have never eaten greens as adults, it will be a lot harder to get them eating compared to if they were fed greens as babies. Now, what exact types of greens and bugs should I be feeding them? Most of your insects you need to feed are crickets and roaches, with an occasional snack of mealworms and superworms, and these should all be dusted in calcium D3 powder. For greens, you can feed them collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens, and squash with an occasional snack of various fruits. For some good tips and things that you should know are that they are a long-term pet and they can live anywhere from 15 to 20 years with good care. Every once in a while, you can give your Beardy a bath. How you can do this is add slightly warm water about 1.5 inches high. This is really good for their pores, any stuck shed, and hydration, especially if they don't drink from a water bowl. Going back to what I said earlier about soil, you should give them 2 parts topsoil and 1 part sand. You may be surprised on how expensive soil is from the pet store, so a much cheaper, easier method that works even better is to get it from a hardware store such as Lowe's or Home Depot. Make sure that you're getting organic topsoil and play sand and no other kinds. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it and found it very helpful and informative, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.